Champion, how are you? Welcome back, and really excited about today's topic. And really, I'm really excited because what we're going to discuss today is how the world class, how the champion, how the legend performer, how they win by not competing. Yes, you heard it. So, how to be number one, how do they dominate by not competing? Yes, and so you heard it well. Yeah, so it's today's topic: how the world class, how the legend performer, how they win by not competing, right? And I'm really excited about today's topic because, I briefly talked about this topic, in different ways, but today I want to spend some time because this has been a transformative week for me, and I really want to make sure that I can pass on the wealth because this principle I'm sharing today, it really worked today, and as I had been thinking about it and working on it, it worked for me well, and I want to share that with you. Sounds good? Before we move on, I just want to quickly share with you, if you haven't listened to last week, I had a great feedback, some great feedback. Thank you. So last week we discussed about how to create a bigger impact by being decisive, right? How legend performer, create a bigger impact by being decisive. So if you haven't listened to it or you haven't read it, I suggest you go read it, and the great feedback from that. And so let's come back to today's topic: is how do legend performer, how do they win by not competing? I'm sure that kind of intrigued your interest here. But yes, plain and simple, the world class, they understood the real world of competing. The world class are not combative, right? Why? Because they understood the root word of competition. Competition, if you look at the root word of it in Latin, is really cooperation to help each other to get better. I'm going to repeat that again. So really, if you look at the root word of competition, in Latin, competere, it's how to help each other to get better, right? So in the fact that, as we get along, you help me, you push me, we help each other to get better. That's really the root word of competition. And that's what the real champion understands. So what that means? That means that if you really understand this is what champion do. Understand that the highest form of competition is creation. I'm going to repeat that, and I'm going to trademark this actually. The highest form of competition is creation, and that's what the world class understand. I'm going to repeat that again. The highest form of competition is creation, right? And the best form to compete is cooperation, right? The best form to compete is cooperation, right? And we're going to dig deeper how to do that. It's not just saying it. So in this episode, I'm going to share how you can do that, the steps 1, 2, 3. So stay tuned, right? But let's build first on what I just shared, right? And just so that it's not just rah, but so you understand that there is a foundation to it. And I'm going to build on it because this is something I experienced this week again, and I want to share, right? So the basic foundation really of that more power come to you when you create, right? I want to develop a little bit, right? So people say, why? So, well, competition means, I want to do this faster than you want to be faster, right? So it's really, there is a higher level to this, right? I love this quote by Buckminster Fuller, right? He says, you never change things by fighting the existing reality, right? He said, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. What does it say? So to change something, right, build a new model that makes the existing reality obsolete, right? That's brilliant. And that's what's really happening, and people just don't pay attention to it, but I want to spend more time on it, right? So again, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, what do? You build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. This is Buckminster Fuller, right? And we're in sport, right? We're in business, but I like to just give you the best example of business, right? It's Henry Ford, right? Who created automobile, right? Here, right? He says this: is when I created automobile, if I had asked the consumer or people what they will say they needed a faster horse, right? Because before a car comes about, it was of horses, right? Carriage, right? So if you think about it, if Henry Ford was just thinking about competing, thinking that he was in a horse business, he would have just trained better horses. Instead, he said, okay, I'm in the transportation business. People really want to move from point A to point B the fastest possible. And he created the automobile, right? So he didn't compete people in the horse business. What he did, he thought about a different level, right? And let's me really dig deeper here, be a nerd, if you might say. Really, we have to evolve, right? The Newtonian model say for every action there is I heard you say reaction, right? We learned that in physics. For every action there is a reaction. Yes, that's true, but that's a bigger model. That's a gross model, and that's what helped us go to the moon, right? Gravity. But as we refine our model, our understanding, quantum physics, right? Relativity E equal mc squared. Einstein, really talks about that, right? Push and pull, for every action there is a reaction, but there is a higher model. The higher model is to understand that with that push and pull, it's not separated, right? That it's all in that same energy and same vicinity. So if you understand that, you understand that it's all transformation, right? It's not separated as the Newtonian physics thought, right? And that's what quantum physics brings to a table, that it's all one, it's all connected. Am I making sense? And that's what E equal mc squared is all about. It's really that conservation of energy. It's just a transformation of energy. You get it? I'm just excited about this, right? So that's what quantum physics brings. We're not separated, we are connected. Instead, what we transform. And that's why I love judo. That's really the martial art I've done for all my life. Judo principle is all about that. It's about transforming the energy that's being come to you, right? If someone pushes me, I'm not resisting by a push. Instead, I'm absorbing that energy and throwing that partner. Someone pull me, I'm going toward that energy and just using that energy as a leverage. That beauty, that's quantum physics, right? And so really, if you understand that, that's how you take your game to a next level. And that's what legend performer have done in any field you can think of, right? Apple, what puts them back on the table, right? Steve Jobs, the iPod. Think about that, right? Say 1,000 songs in your pocket. Let's think about that, right? It didn't go toe to toe with Sony, which has the CD Walkman and all that, right? You could have listened maybe some people I'm talking, you probably even don't know what I'm talking about. But the digital music, right? Walkman was one of the greatest things, right? We had right? You think about it from a vinyl, right? The vinyl to a Walkman. That was great. I remember growing up. Wow, I have 12 songs, right? The CD had 12 songs, right? You could listen to it. That was great. Steve Jobs came and said, no. What does a user want? They want enjoying music without interruption, right? For hours, 1,000 songs in your pocket, right? So that's really powerful. And that's what quantum physics brings, right? So I want to talk about that. Albert Einstein says this, right? Problems cannot be solved at the same level of thinking than they were created at, right? Problem cannot be solved at the same level of thinking that they were created at. And this is quantum physics thinking, right? And so, same idea. If Steve Jobs thought that he was in a Walkman business, right? But what did he think about? I mean, the user experience, right, business. How do I create more music time for my listener, right? Harry Ford. People are not in a horse business. They think about the fastest from point A to point B. I hope you get the point. So, competition is not being combative. It's not action or reaction. In fact, that might work, but that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of energy. And that's why, there is that crowded. But if you want to be the number one, the leading person in your field, create, my friend, create. That's really the key. And that's why I really want to share today, right? Because at that level, people are not thinking higher. And that's why there is competition and survival, right? Am I making sense? But when you think about creation, you cannot be matched. You're going to be always a leader. Am I making sense? That's powerful, and I really hope you get it. And that's what I want to share, because to me, this week, I had amazing result because I was thinking that plane, right? So really, I want to share that. Now you're saying, okay, Saul, I get it. How do I do that? How do I do that? Great. You ready? I'm excited, as you can tell. So I'm going to share 3-4 steps how to do that. Step 1, right? I'm thinking even Michael Jordan. Hey, Michael Jordan, I bet that the step I shared, you use that, right? If you're number one in your field, I bet what I'm just sharing here, you use it, right? So really, I dare you to get back to me if you read this place. If you haven't used those, I will be curious. Please share that with me, right? But really, I hope this YouTube video get to you, Michael Jordan. And if you can comment back, I appreciate that, right? But really, those are the 4 steps that I think that made Michael Jordan who he is, that made Albert Einstein who he is, that made Steve Jobs who he is. And you know what it is? Step 1, you got to understand the industry you're in. You got to understand the field you're in, right? So let's look at soccer, for example, right? Then I give you an example. Messi, right now, as I'm filming this, Messi is one of the best. Is the best players nowadays. You can argue whatever it is. It might have been Pele in the time, whoever it is, right? But this is how Messi, I don't know if he's thinking about the battle, but this is how he takes himself to the next level. Right now, Messi play for Barcelona, right? But if Messi if his level of thinking is that, okay, I'm just playing to score at every game, right? His performance will be at this level, right? But if Messi is able to elevate his thinking, say, okay, I'm playing for the Barcelona fans. I'm scoring for Barcelona fans, not just for myself. He's elevating his thinking here. Guess what? He's even thinking even high. If he thinks higher, he say, okay, I'm playing to inspire people to play soccer in the world. This is how Messi level goes from here, right? So I'm playing soccer to inspire people to be their best in life. This is how Messi level goes here. Am I making sense? So by not thinking, oh, I have Suarez here, or I have whoever else here, what Messi is thinking is becoming a number one because his level of thinking is higher. Am I making sense? So he's not combative. Say, okay, if there is this defender, if there's Real de Madrid, I'm fighting here. So that's how you apply what I just shared, right? So you gotta know your field, right? You gotta know what's around. You gotta know you gotta know people around you. That's number one. That's a foundation. Number 2, you gotta know what your X factor is. You gotta know what your X factor is. What makes you unique, right? We're gonna talk about that later, right? Because I know it's a problem. It can be a challenge per se to know what your X factor is, right? But really, right? What's your X factor? What makes you unique? So that's the second thing you need to know, right? Whether it's persistence, whether it's speed, whether it's being great communicator, whether it's people relationship, whether it's being quick at analyzing, whatever field it is, whether it's anticipation, right? So you gotta know your X factor. That's your number two, really how you do it. Number three, what's your number three? That's really what I just shared initially here. Your number three trick is this. You gotta be able to elevate your level of thinking, right? So I gave an example of Henry Ford. He didn't think that he was in a horse business, right? What did he think about? He knew he was in a transportation business. Steve Jobs, he didn't think that he was in a Walkman business. He thought about he was in a customer user business. I gave example Messi, right? I'm not in a business of just scoring goals to make more money. I'm in a business of inspiring people to be their best. That's what Michael Jordan did. And because of that, Michael Jordan's name is synonym to excellence in performance. Am I making sense? Right? So really, so that's the number three really goal. If you think about it, that's really the key. So right. So again, number one, you gotta know your surroundings. You gotta know what industry you're in. Number two, you gotta know what makes you unique, right? What is your X factor, right? And number three, you gotta elevate your thinking, and that's what I started with. Right? And I'm gonna end that with: you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Buckminster Fuller, right? Problems cannot be solved at the same level of thinking that they're created. Problems cannot be solved at the same level of thinking that they're created, right? Instead, you gotta elevate your thinking, right? So that's what I started with, and that's what I'm ending with. So again, that's how you win. That's how you differentiate yourself, right? I hope this was really useful, but really this is one of my favorite things, right? Because there is that myth that dispel. People think competing means being combative. It's not. I hope you know that now. And again, if you want to be the fastest whatever, you can be combative. But if you want to be number one, you create. And that's what I really want to share today. I hope this serves you today. And my friend, I hope you can feel my excitement. But really, I really promise, if you do that, that's how you become number one. And by the way, this is my plug. If you're Messi or you Michael Jordan, or you're Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, if you're number one in your field, or you're Steve Jobs or a Jeff Bezos in business, if you think what I shared today was helpful, I will appreciate your comment. Or anybody, if you know them, forward this. But I promise, this is something I studied for years, and this is really how they did it, right? And I'm going to trademark my saying, right? The highest form of competition is creation. All right, and this is Soul O here all the way from Santa Cruz, and I hope this was helpful to you. And stay tuned next week. We're going to really look at the next level, right? I talk about 3 level, but that will be helpful. All right, my friend, talk to you soon. Till next time, dare to shine. As you can see, I am enjoying the sunshine, feeling blessed. Dare to shine, my friend, because that's what you're here for. All right, talk to you later. Bye.